Greetings and blessings. I am Lord Maitreya. How wonderful it is to come to you with the teaching of love. It is certainly a great time for those who desire to understand the great ways of love and how to become of greater love. It is certainly the time to understand how to heal one's path and how to walk with more integrity within the heart. Finding your true integrity will take strength and love from within you. For how can you learn the ways of truth and integrity if you do not have self-love within you? But you may say, how, Lord Maitreya, can we find greater self-love if that is what it takes to find our true selves? Finding the road to self-love may take many lifetimes, and yet all who have come on this great and sacred journey in this lifetime have learned what self-love is in many past lifetimes. For you cannot come to this gateway until this gate time line of the great alignment if you have not learned self-love in any of your lifetimes. I, as Lord Maitreya, also searched for this greatly when I lived upon your earth plane. How can I find more truth and self-love within me? So I wanted to find out, and often I would walk many miles to find wisdom. I was called a great searcher of truth, and I desired to wander from village to village often, to become a greater teacher of love. But how can one be a teacher if one does not discover a greater love within? How can you show people how to become greater and stronger when it is not within you? I desire to become it and to embody it, as it were, before I began to teach it. But then I began to discover that the greatest way to embody it and to become it was to be the teacher of self-love. For all things is always reflected back at you. So when I began to discover greater self-love, and when I thought I had it, I would encounter something different. I would see people, they would teach me differently. And so I began to treasure my teaching gifts more than anything, because I began to understand that the more I became a teacher, the more self-love I became. Because each time when I spoke about it, I would be taught more, and I desired it. I fell on my knees, great Lord, teach me how to become more self-love, so that I can become a greater teacher for others. The people that taught me more about self-love were the ones that suffered the most. The ones who had everything always saw themselves as the great ones, and they would always expect the poorer ones to serve them. I knew that was not the way of self-love. For yes, they loved themselves, but they did not understand their heart or their spiritual self. For them, everything was about their desires, not the inner desires of their spirit, but what they owned. And they desired others to glorify them by their belongings. Some people had great treasures and they thought that was great. But I knew differently, especially when I was around my greatest friend Jesus. Jesus always served the great Lord Emmanuel so much. And when I listened to him speak, he always spoke the wise words. And so I desired to bring that through to the people and the villages also. It is not the belongings that give you self-love at all, or the greatest treasures of the heavens, but it is your own heart. Go and listen to the man, Jesus. He will set you right. He will teach you all that is to be taught. He will make you richer. So they all went to Jesus to find great riches. So Jesus always had the greatest arguments there of the people that wanted the greatest riches and the greatest ways to be worshipped. But Jesus taught something else, did he not? You know that. Jesus taught the way to the greatest riches were not found in the treasure chests, but within the heart. So I discovered as Lord Maitreya, Lord Maitreya was not my name in that lifetime because I've had many names, that all things belong in the greater ways of love. And I began to research it more. Once there was a little child with leprosy before me, and I felt sorry for the little child. What can I do, little child? Here is some bread and water. The little child said, "No, master, keep it yourself. Do not give it to me because you feel sorry for me. If you want to give it to me, do it because your heart states you want to give it to me. Don't give it to me because you feel sorry for me. Yes, I have this sickness, and yes, I am suffering, but please don't suffer for me. Don't do that because it brings greater suffering to me." So I said to the little boy, "Here, I want to give you bread, not because I am suffering, because you are suffering, but because I want to. Can you please accept it from me?" And yes, the boy wanted it very much. That taught me something else. It taught me how much greater that boy was than even myself. How much beauty that boy had. I needed to give from my heart because I wanted to, not because I felt sorry for the child. And indeed, he became more healed because I had healing hands. And he ran up to me a few days later and he said, Sir, since you've given me the bread and the water, look, my leprosy is going. Thank you so much." And he went onto his knees and I stated, "Now you know that you can't do that. And I am so grateful that you healed. Here has some more bread from my heart." And that boy, he brought so many people to Master Jesus because of the great healings taking place. I, as Lord Maitreya, have learned so much about self-love and the power of self-love and the power of healing in all my ways. How can that incident, that happening, be more of self-love, you may ask? Because I began to see that because I loved myself so much and I didn't suffer for the boy, that boy could heal. And I was so grateful to be taught that. So I learned in that lifetime that suffering with others was no self-love, but learning to help another because of my love, my genuine love from my heart, was great love, was great self-love. And indeed, I've seen miracles in lifetimes. So I wish to present this learning to you, so you may also see the benefit and learn from this. and may you grow wise in your great wisdom. Greetings and blessings. I am Lord Maitreya.
Greetings, thank you.